What's happening, guys? Welcome to the Super League. And as you can see tonight, I am joined by the man who deserves all credit for the absolute carnage that's been the opening few weeks, Mr. Dimble. How are you, buddy?
I am Sal, mate. Good evening. How are you?
I am very good. All the better for seeing your happy, smiley face. As I said there, obviously you did all the hard work for this save. We were just chatting very briefly before we went live about how you're finding it. Are you kind of being able to enjoy the entertainment, or as you say, every time someone gets sent off, you're just like, oh no, not again?
Yeah, it's taken a bit of the neutrality out of the edge. It's taken a bit of edge off for me. Yeah, every time there's a red, I kind of sink back into my bed or my seat or whatever it is I'm sat on at the time. And, yeah, I'm not enjoying that part as much as the probably neutral is, and for everyone else, it's probably just a kind of entertaining part of it now. But yeah, for me, it's kind of stressful.
Well, tonight's team news is fun because most teams are missing multiple players through injuries or suspension. So we're fully getting to see the extent of the squads, including, for the first time that I can remember, there may have been one other, but it's definitely the first time I can remember, someone has had to get a player out of the reserves because they didn't have enough goalkeepers available with the amount of injuries and suspensions, which is class. Let's have a quick look at the league table then, before we get into it. You find yourself very neatly positioned. You'll class it as joint top, but you're sat in second on goal difference, or goals scored even. Bostock there still undefeated, but you've got 5 wins from 7, so you must be quite happy with the start you've made.
Yeah, the start was amazing. I've been a bit ropey last 3 games. Really got a bit lucky against Burn, so it's not all sunshine and light over on the East Coast. But obviously, 15 points is a very good start from 7 games. So not moaning at that, but it does feel like we are struggling to create a little bit at the moment and things like that. So I'm hoping things will change tonight.
Well, a team that's what's the kindest way to saying this? There's more than one way to skin a cat, I think is the saying. And when you look at yourselves and Bostock and to an extent Vikings as well, and then positioned in between you all, Casuals, they're not scoring goals at all, but they're just not conceding any.
Yeah, true. There's many different ways to win, and Casuals have definitely got their own version of that. Yeah, I don't want to be scoring 7 goals in 7 games, but I'll just adapt. But yeah, to be fair, his defence is that good that it doesn't really matter, does it? He's so solid. So not looking forward to taking my kind of out of form attack against his in form defence.
Just relating to the sandwich chat in the conversation, Tato rubbished the tuna and cucumber sandwich when it was suggested it becomes a tuna crunch with onion, yet wants to absolutely destroy a perfectly good sandwich by putting sweet corn in it like an absolute madman. Ridiculous decision. At the bottom of the table, it's still quite tight. Dragons still without a win, but you have to feel. I mean, I've given him some stick at times, but you have to feel a little bit for Dragons in games like this, don't you?
Yeah, I didn't watch it live. I watched it back. What a game it was for the Super League, but for Duggan, he must have been pulling his hair out.
He was at a wedding, and all I can imagine is the groom got a punch at the end of it.
Yeah, or his missus, probably his missus. I don't know. But yeah, that's just the game fucking you, and Duggan knows that. But he should have been better in a few other games. Although I suppose he has been a little bit unlucky as well. 3 points doesn't reflect how good his team is, and I think he'll start putting that right soon. It's just whether he gets stuck in that kind of burn rut from last year, or whether he can kind of break out of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When you look at it, we were a little bit concerned a couple of game weeks ago that there was already a 5-point gap between 6 and 7. But when you look at the league table, we're more or less a quarter of the way, just over a quarter of the way. It's still nice and tight and compact, really, isn't it?
Yeah, he's pulled back nicely to the back, and yeah, I was worried as well because it makes the whole thing a lot less interesting when you've only got 6 managers kind of tuning in and being actively involved. So it's good news for the league that it's pulled it back, and I do think the game tends to do that. Even if like 5 teams are clearly better, I think sometimes it does pull you back a bit and evens it out a little bit. I think it's kind of little quirks like that. So yeah,
In answer
please,
to Mr. Savage, the rumor is that cats are scared of cucumbers. Barring one viral video, I'm yet to see any evidence. And Martin, sweet corn is making cornflakes and F all out. Sorry, mate.
So it depends who's holding the cucumber. If it was Rob, there definitely would be.
So, ghost games permitting, then obviously your game will be last. Is there any particular game standing out there that you'd like to start with?
No, let's let the game decide.
Let the game decide. Let's do that then. And it means that we will be kicking off with Fulchester at home to Triple P. And we start with the away side, who are without Kaluzhny for injury. Wellins unfit to take part as well. They make a couple of alterations. They had a front three last time out. They drop it back to 2 AMs behind and Penza. But the only change, no, two changes, sorry. Zidane coming in centre midfield and Nigmatulin dropped to the bench. Molina starts today.
Yeah, I don't mind the formation. If he'd have not done no transfers, he'd be in a better position. He'd have had Kuhl and Milevsky and who else would have been Melito. He had a really good. He got dealt a really good hand, and he's made a couple of weird transfers, and then he's ended up with Zidane and Beckham in midfield, which, yeah, I don't think it's good enough for this. So we'll see. And then Trezeguet and AMC, but they're still good players. They can still do something. So they're always going to be a dangerous team. And Rob likes to create chances and get goals usually, although he has been a bit of a that's not really been happening of recent times, has it? But they're always a dangerous team, I feel. Whenever I play Rob, I'm always worried I'm going to get lubbocked.
So we mentioned, and it is Fulchester who have had to dip into the reserves, both Abiati and Pleticosa out injured for this one. So first team goalkeeper Andre starts, Cordoba given special dispensation to get on the bench. Other than that, fairly settled side. Gattuso comes back in for Albertini in the only outfield change from memory.
I think so, yeah. I think so. It's got some good players. It's got some weaker players. But I trust Maka to get it right over time. If he has got the time himself to put it into the game and stuff. Riquelme next to Gattuso should work for him. I think Ambrosini is solid. Enrique's might be a bit of a liability, but he's one I looked to draft, but he went before I could get him, just because he's so versatile and he's fairly good.
And we were saying last game week, the importance, now that Batistuta's fit again, if he can get Batistuta and Vieri both playing, and they did both score last time out, so if they can get that consistently, Fulchester should really start motoring up the league, shouldn't they?
Yeah, and that's what we all been looking at them before the season started. I trusted, because Maka always plays with more than one up front anyway. It's always a 2 or a 3 usually, and to have two players of that quality, I thought he would kick on. Obviously, a bit of a slow start, but I think he will come back strong.
Well, Mr. Edwards is suggesting that this is going to be a goal fest, this one. With that in mind, can I ask you your predictions for the first time tonight, please?
Yeah, I think it is going to be a goal fest. I think it's going to be 3-2 to the C-suite.
3-2 to the C-suite is the prediction. Let's kick off game number 1. And with less than a minute on the clock, Fulchester come forward and miss a glorious opportunity. Both managers predicting that their opposition will win in the chat, of course. Slow start due to injury, suspensions and other faff, says Maka. Dan predicting 2-1 Fulchester, Alf predicting 2-0 Fulchester, Greavesy as well, and Kevin Hoffland being sent off. And Dimble straight away, 22 minutes on the clock, and he's already got his head in his hands. We've got another red card. Rob is the sort to go 1 at the back, but given that Maka is playing 2 up top, do you expect him to sacrifice maybe Trezeguet and put Costa on the pitch?
No idea what Rob's going to do. I don't think Rob knows what he's going to do.
It's impossible to predict.
Any sane manager would put 2 at the back. Yeah, that's my answer to that question.
Greavesy predicted 2-0 Fulchester. Maka saying 3-1 to Triple P. Tato saying nice one, Dims. And Greavesy very happy with the early red card in proceedings. So fantastic. Rob, one at the back, no fear. And that one at the back is Roque Jr. Let's resume the action then and see if Fulchester. And there it is. It's Luis Enrique, and it's 2-0 Enrique again for quick fire double for the home side. And just starting to get a bit of momentum behind them, our Fulchester. Couple of good results in recent game weeks. All stemmed from that draw 2 game weeks ago, I believe. Gattuso and Riquelme heavily involved in the midfield against Petit. Vieri, Alex Seedorf fails to put it away. But at half-time, Dimble, it is 2-0 to the side that have managed to keep 11 men on the pitch.
Yeah, I don't think it was all about the 11 men. I think they were the better team anyway. But yeah, look at their stats. It's been dominant from Fulchester. I think Rob's fucked it by going one at the back there. I think it was too soon to be doing that.
Let's have a look at the home side first then. Strong ratings throughout. Unsurprisingly, Enrique there with his 2 goals, getting a 9. Martin did spot it, Seedorf getting an assist for one of the goals as well. Interesting shots all over the pitch as well. They're not leaving it to the front too. I can see Alex and Seedorf shooting as well. So it seems to be a shoot on sight policy for the home side.
Yeah, a lot of action all around. Not loads of passes, but lots of action. Yeah, it's going to be a walk in the park for Fulchester now. So I would roll to 60 and get some changes made.
Maka saying roll, but I bet Gattuso gets sent off.
Well, to be fair, that's a good point. He might think about taking him off now. No.
And I've flagged up on the screen Rob saying I would rather get pumped than play for a draw. Greasy instantly replying, that's a good job by the looks of it, Rob, because you are getting pumped. Let's have a look then at the away side and what can they do to turn this around? Now that they're 2-0 down, is it too late to put 2 at the back again?
Yeah, I don't think you can take a step backwards. I would be tempted to put an extra DMC in, maybe even go like narrow. But yeah, it's going to be very difficult to get back in it from here, especially with some of the kind of passengers you already got in the team, like Zidane.
Indeed, he's essentially playing with 9. Looking down the list, there's no real fitness concerns. They're just not in the game at all, really. And there's no real out-and-out obvious game changer on the bench. I'm not quite sure how they've managed to get in this position. Pull Petit back as a 2, go 3 up top with my AMCs. So I think we are going like this.
Yeah.
If anything, I think that looks even worse.
I mean, it could get a goal, but it's likely to concede a couple more, isn't it?
Well, that is the decision. So let's resume the action. 2-0 to Fulchester at half-time. No subs by either side. And let's roll to 60.
I'm liking the anti-DMC agenda from North Korea.
And it's free and it's Vieri. And we pause the game with Triple P having a corner. So they are on the attack. Batistuta, despite all that space, is struggling with just a 6 rating. Might you consider it 3-0 up now, given the way things have gone, bringing Gattuso off as well?
Yeah, I think you need to. And I would leave Batistuta on to see if he can get a goal. And I might even rest one of the... Well, I'd pick out an important player and rest them as well at this point if I was Maka. But he might just want to try and bump up the scoreline, you never know.
So here is the news then. So we've got Gattuso is coming off for Okan. Let's not risk that red card. And Batistuta is coming off for Michael Owen.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Owen's a good player, but I would have been tempted to see if Batistuta can turn his kind of performance around. He's obviously an important player for him going forward.
Alpha's made a positive comment towards Maka and Rob has not reacted kindly to it. Emil and Penza is an interesting one. Rob is consistently failing to get the best out of him. He struggled with him at Devils. He's now struggled with him at Triple P. Could he be the player that whenever the next transfer window opens, Rob just says, look, I've had enough. Clearly, he's not a me player and tries to cash in.
Yeah, I mean, he might as well because he's not getting anything out of him, isn't he? And if he likes an Elka, he can have an Elka for him. I'd do that. Impenza's not getting on with Rob. He doesn't like his style play or something. There's something going on there because he's not done anything for him, has he really?
No. Rob saying leave as is, so we resume the action. Hodgie offering Impenza for Cliver. Michael Owen scores to make it 4-0 to Fulchester. I believe that was from the penalty spot. They come forward looking for more. Are PPP going to get a consolation goal here? Or Fulchester going to keep a clean sheet, which I believe, if I remember... Oh, they want another penalty? If I remember right, I put in the little ticker at the bottom. Seedorf makes it 5 in injury time. And I believe that is Fulchester's first clean sheet of the season as well. Perfect performance all round for Fulchester, that.
Yeah, impressive with a little helping hand from our mate Rob. But yeah, it's still impressive. He's still created loads, still been clinical, and that'll do the confidence of Maka and the squad no end of good.
And when what have we got here? Hodgie pointing out he's got no transfers. Maka calls him pathetic. Jens saying it's a massacre.
Yeah, well, the only reason I took the chance to offer Rob a deal there is because he couldn't not hear it, whereas he just ignored my messages during the whole of the transfer window. So, yeah, Rob, answer your fucking messages, you mug.
It's a lot. It's easy to say, but the whole world is a much brighter place when Maka is winning games as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes me feel better as the builder of the save that Maka's won a game. Because there's no Fury like a Maka Fury, and I don't want that to carry on.
Fulchester would have battered a 12-man Triple P tonight, says Ian Edwards. Let's have a look at the individual player stats. Enrique getting man of the match, but Seedorf also rating 10. Fieri already seems to be better in this save than he was at any point in the last one. Michael Owen getting on the score sheet as well, which is a Super League rarity. Was it a case of Fulchester were that good, or was it a fact that Rob completely fucked himself early and it let Fulchester get ahead of steam?
Yeah, Fulchester were winning that game anyway, but Rob gave him a nice little helping hand, made it a lot easier than it should have been, and that's how it went. I don't think there's any way of describing that match, is there really? What do you think, Fyfie?
I'm always a believer in you still have to do a professional job, and that's what Fulchester did. How many times have we seen people against 10 men struggle? Fulchester didn't do that tonight. They went about their business properly and got their just reward for doing so.
Cheers.
As for the away side, Candea rating of 5 and Penza rating of 5. It's just not what you expect to see from these players. And Rob needs to, I know he's had a turnaround after a slow start to the season, but he needs to find that consistency and he needs his top players performing for him. Yeah,
he's got some good players left. He can get a good tune out of these, I think, if he wanted to. He's got some good players. At the end of the day, look, he needs to put Beckham on the right. He needs to play Impenza, and he needs to stick with him and see what he can do to make him better, rather than just chucking him out in the rubbish now.
Superb stat there from Swanee. There have been 4 5-0 results since season 7, and Rob has been involved in 3 of them. Congratulations, though, to Fulchester on a big win to start us off. PPP back to the drawing board, and they will be without the influential Kevin Hoffland next time out. We are not going there, so let's go to the top of the list, and it will be Astor, who are at home to the Badgers next up. Astor are a funny side. They're now down in 13th. They started the season well, no defeats in the first 3, then lost 3 in a row. Then lost the next 4, Dimble. And there's some interesting calls in the squad today, which you'll see. Terry dropped completely and Dye on the bench, Robin on the bench, Viduka not even making the squad.
Yeah, that game he lost to me, he was doing really well up until then, and he put a strange formation out, and then he went I think he went 2-2-2-2 or something against me when he got a man sent off.
Yep.
Completely kind of threw the game, and it was a bit of a weird one. And Alf's been making some strange decisions since. I don't think he's made the right call too many times this season. And for a man who usually gets it pretty right, I don't know. Is he over testing? Is he playing too much with these players? Is he not just trust his original gut instincts? And he used to be able to get the best out of players, but he's struggling to do that so far this season. It's not working, is it?
I mean, Alf, you'll be quicker at just saying yes or no. Is this right? Because I didn't even spot that Van Nistelrooy is in attacking midfield here.
Yeah, that's the team he posted, and he did say he'd have a strange run at AMC, so I think it is right. Yeah. I mean, okay. I think Van Nistelrooy's all right there. He's not bad there, but he's one of the better strikers on the game, so it is an odd one in a way when you've got Robin kind of sat there. But he's explained that he thinks Robin's too young. I think that's a load of shit. But
you'll win nothing with kids, as they say, Dimble.
You'll win nothing with an Italian piece of cheese in DMC either.
You look at the Astor squad, and they were one of the fancied squads after the initial draw. When you see the 11, there is some obvious quality in there, but yeah, to me, it does just feel sort of round pegs in square holes.
Yeah, I think he had kind of like 9 out of a good 11, and he could have traded a good player or a top player for 2 good players in the right positions. I think he was weak on the right. I think he needed a centre back, and I think that was it really. And he had a top 6 11 there, no problems. But I think he overthought it too much with some of the criticisms that have come in the past. I think he overthought it, and then in the end did a couple of questionable deals anyway, which might come back to bite him a little bit. But yeah, to be fair, Alf loves the game. He will get it right eventually, in my opinion. But at the minute, it's not going right for him.
Let's have a look then at the Badgers, who, after a difficult start to the season, have really turned it round themselves. 4 games without defeat, scoring 2 in each of them, keeping clean sheets in 3 of them. It could not be going much better for young Tato at the moment, could it?
No, he's doing really well, and he's taking it seriously, isn't he? There's no defender on the bench. He's doing my head in. I've told him personally. You don't have to be a defender. It can just be someone who can cover at DMC or whatever. But yeah, whatever. Tato's going to take. I'm pleased to see Fyfie and Roberts up front together. I think that's his best partnership for Tato football. Brugging's obviously a big favourite of mine, and then his 2 wide men are solid as fuck. So yeah, I do like this 11. I just think he's kind of messing around it. It took him a while to get to this, but I think he's a dangerous team. I don't think it's going to sustain its form though, in my opinion.
I'm trying to fully concentrate on all the actual good quality punditry points you're making, but the chat is absolute carnage at the same time.
I'll just catch up now.
While you catch up, I'll go to Match Centre, and I will just. Oh no, we got a ghost game. Tato was celebrating not being last.
I just read that comment as well.
Yeah. Okay, let's try this again then. As apparently we're going to Haggis and Burn. That'll teach you for celebrating early, Tato. This is an interesting game, this. Haggis have conceded 2 in every game. Burn have only kept 1 clean sheet all season, I think, are the 2 points I've made along the ticker here. So this has got another goal fest written all over it. Last time out, Burn got the draw with Vikings, and they go unchanged for this game.
Yeah, this should be a good game, this one. I'm looking forward to this one. I think this is probably the highlight of the night for me. I love the 11 the best 11 that Burn have got. How long is Bobby Carlos out for? Are you allowed to say
2 months?
2 months. So that's quite a big chunk then. So Ian Hart will have to step up, but the rest of the team is pretty good. And Ian knows there's a few players around the fringes of his team as well that I quite like. So yeah, he's one of my favourite squads in the league. I know you can have obviously you got the ones that are clearly better, but it's one of my favourite squads in the league. and the fact it wasn't really fancied as well. I quite like that, and I
Yeah.
think it suits.
Yeah, on everyone's testing, it did remarkably well.
Yeah, because it's got some quality players, and it's got the cheat code up front, who gets a 5 at half time and then scores the winner. Usually, that's what he does for him anyway.
Now, have you seen Ian's tactic? The other 2i Ian's tactic for this one?
I don't believe I have. No, is it good?
I was somewhat unsure and had to check a couple of times that I'd not pressed the wrong one and picked a Tato tactic by accident, because he's gone a bit lopsided.
All right. Doesn't usually work, but in theory it could. Roberto is banging in that position. Figo can't really play right wing back, so I get the thinking, but yeah, to be fair, Roberto's class as an ML, so I don't see why you'd need to do it really.
He's obviously trying something different, and fair play to him for doing that. It's getting some positivity in the chat.
Yeah, I predict on 45 or 60 minutes he'll be pulling that DML upwards.
and then Hodgie, Figo back out of position after playing okay on top. And then just to really, for all those who are like the traditional Rocks, wants to move the goalkeeper on the list as well. At what point? I mean, Michelini's got a lot of praise for his performances at the start of the season in particular. Quite a good rating, 771 from his 6 starts and sub appearance. But as I've said, they've conceded a minimum 2 goals in every game this season. So how does Ian keep the players playing well, supposedly, but tighten up that defence?
A genuine answer. I think he needs better than Ferdinand is my response to that. And probably someone who can tackle in MC rather than Donny. I don't know if he's played every game, though, to be fair to him. It's not all his fault.
No, this will only be a second start.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's a centre. I don't think he's a centre mid in any game, to be honest. I don't rate him there at all. But the answer to me is, yeah, he's not got the class keeper anymore. The season 5 Casillas, and he's got Ferdinand instead of kind of Sangwell or Stam. Which I think that's the genuine answer.
Okay, let's go to the kickoff then and ask you for your score prediction in this one.
I think I went 2-1 in Swanee, so I'll say 2-1 home win, just because I think Haggis are dangerous.
Dangerous Haggis to win 2-1. Ian saying his centre house a pish, that's why. Let's kick this one off and see if that is the case. Westerveld already making a save or two inside, and there's Figo out wide opening the scoring. Ferdinand goes in the book. Byrne trying to force an equaliser, but Haggis hold out. Scally goes in the book. Kuehl and Emerson getting involved. Say Roberto trying to make stuff happen out on the left. Sigalko, and it's been disallowed. Westerveld did save the first attempt, the second one being disallowed, and we reach half time. Greavesy already wrong, predicting a 0-1 result. Dan is still in it. He's predicted 1-3, but at half time, in a very low attempts affair, Dimble, Haggis are winning 1-0.
It didn't seem that shit, did it, when we was watching?
No, it looks a lot better than that.
But yeah, that is terrible. There can't be much to analyse, so let's just move on.
No, hang on. I'm sure I'm daydreaming, but was it not? I remember you two played out an absolute fucking stinker. And then, was it not their last one as well was equally bad? Slightly better.
Yeah. I mean, some similar thing happened to me in terms of, I played Burn, didn't create much. The game before that, I didn't create much. Sometimes you're playing the same tactics, same instructions pretty much. And the game just decides that doesn't work anymore. You need to do something else. And I think that's kind of happening to Ian. And that's why I predicted the Haggis win, just because I could kind of feel that coming, if that makes sense.
So what have we got going on in the chat? Without even seeing his stats, Mr. Edwards has gone as is. Hodgie saying it was a cross that went in from Figo. And 2IE and said, we are so bad at headering. If I was involved in this game, you would be throwing pelters, says Greavesy. No, honestly, mate, it's fucking terrible. It looked a lot more entertaining than it was. Greavesy suggested this is the worst Zé Roberto ever, but he's heavily involved in this game, isn't he?
He's decent. If you look at him, he doesn't actually look that good. Like, you compare him to like a top class left winger, I don't think he looks that good. But we know he's done it time and time again. He's been the creative force behind a few usually average teams, to be fair to him. But he's...
Sorry, carry on.
I say his class is just the injury thing that always worries me. I would never go big for him just because of the injury thing.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Shiotis, unsurprisingly, getting a 5 after conceding the only shot on goal from Haggis. But other than that, it's not too bad. He will want a bit more from Chunso and Sigalko. Both managers have said roll to 60. So let's resume the action. Go away. And we have an injury for Zé Roberto, just as you were saying. Ian will be worried that will be long term. Rosicky plays on the wrong side. Is he moving Figo out there? Or is Donny dropping out there and Rosicky going into midfield?
It's got to be a push him up one, and then it can be a choice of Figo or Donny, can't it? And neither of those.
Even drop Scholes back into midfield and bring Rossini on if he wants more attacking options?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I won't put it past Ian to do something bold. He's usually a gutsy manager, but for me, it'd be Donny. In my choice, it'd be Donny out wide as an ML, and then that's what I would do. Yeah, and it'd probably have to be Rosicky, or you could bring Rossini on and drop Scholes back, I suppose.
Well, he's definitely putting Donny on the left, but he's not. Oh, here we go. Rosicky on, move Scholes to MC.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me.
And we're approaching the 60-minute mark. Still one apiece here. Another yellow card handed out. Elbear has an attempt. And Chunso, just as we hit the hour mark, another injury, this time for Northern Burn. So we'll actually start with the away side here. Ian, not really one for making subs. He's got an enforced change here. But can you see him making more than one, Dimble?
Is it 1-1 still, isn't it? Yeah, so... Yeah,
still one apiece, yeah.
Yeah, I can see him trying to swing the game, but he's not got loads of options on the bench. He's probably going to bring on Fiore and push Kewell up, which is the sensible move. And then beyond that, he's not really got a game changer unless you think Cashman can play left wing.
I've noticed a lot of managers aren't really putting that one big player on the bench anymore.
Yeah,
as you suggested, Fiore coming on.
He's not got loads of firepower outside the squad. He's just got some decent players, but I think Ian's a sensible manager like me. He just kind of covers all positions on the bench. He's not like Tato.
As for Haggis, they are the home side, so they should be the ones pushing. Is there a call here to bring Rossini on, and if so, who for?
I would love to see Rossini for many reasons. Yeah, I don't know. I think Elbow and Shearer both started the season well, so there's no need to do it for me. But
you mentioned Ferdinand was a problem player within the team. He's on a yellow card. Michelini also on a booking. Does that come into the thought process at this stage?
It would make me leave a sub. That's what it would do. I wouldn't change them as such, but I would make sure I didn't make both subs at this point.
Okay. Rossini is coming on for Elbear for Haggis. And Arrow on Scholes to AM. There we go. So we've seen the changes. Half an hour to go. Still one apiece. What's Dimble drinking tonight? Asks Jens.
It's a beer of Moretti tonight.
As Fiore scores to give Northern Burn the lead. Moretti, top class, says Jens. Giant's milk, says Macca. Emerton, Scally, Lewis and Fiore puts it wide this time. Heading towards injury time. Are Burn going to see this one out? 3 minutes to be added on, which we're into now. And it's Burn with the ball. Jeremies, Fiore, Scally's fouled. Simeone goes in the book. That should be just about it. And Northern Burn pick up a 2-1 win. And once again, Haggis concede 2 goals, Dimble.
Yeah, they've been very weak at the back. I think next transfer window, whenever it comes, I think that's got to be the priority for Haggis. I think they are scoring enough goals, aren't they? But it's just that centre backs, I think, letting them down. Michelin has been great. Wide players have been good. Centre mid and centre back is where they're lacking for me.
Well, let's have a look at those individual ratings, starting with Haggis. Ferdinand, he only attempted 1 header. He did win it. He won 4 of 6 tackles. To be fair, both defenders doing their job. Just when you consider how many opportunities Burn created, you'd maybe expect a few more tackle attempts, Dimble.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they've done enough. I think defensively they've done enough. They've not done great, but they've done enough to kind of not concede 2 and win the game. But today it looks like the attackers have kind of let them down. They've not created anything of them going forward.
No, nothing at all, really. But could that be because of a tactical masterclass by Northern Burn? Ian Hart and Emerton both picking up 8 ratings, as did Jeremies getting man of the match in this one. Strong team performance, this.
Yeah, solid from Burn. I think this is a worrying sign for the league because I think I expected them kind of drop off a little bit now, but that 3 points is massive for Burn, in my opinion. It kind of solidifies their place amongst the top lot, doesn't it?
Well, congratulations to Northern Burn, who pick up the win away at Haggis. And that means next up, we go to Celtics, who are at home to the almost unbeatable Bostock Stanley. I say almost unbeatable because some teams have shown this season, they conceded 3 to Haggis, they conceded 2 to Fulchester. You can get at this team, Dimble.
Yeah, they've been in a couple of close games, hasn't it? I think they've drawn 3, but not lost yet, haven't they? So yeah,
That's right.
they've obviously pegged back a bit, but it's one of them where even if you're 1-1 or 0-0 or 2-0, you kind of expect him to concede with the quality they've got going forward. Larzi Strand is not in the same ballpark as some of these players, but he's one of them that's always been decent, always been effective. And I think having one of those kind of champ weirdos that shouldn't be good that are in amongst the stars is actually quite a good mix. I quite like the idea of doing that.
Good evening to Ryan, who's joined us in the chat. Says hello to you as well there, Dimble. After a suggestion that Ian should do his own transfers next time, Rox is accepting full responsibility for Michelini. When looking at the Bostock team, just one change from last time out, and it's not a bad one at all. Totti coming back in for Collins. Everything else remains the same.
Yeah, why not? Scott's not one to change things when it's going well, so I'm not surprised. And the fact he had that holiday booked in as well, I'm guessing he's wanted to kind of get it in, get on holiday, get on the plane.
And I hope he is enjoying himself. Let's have a look then at the home side, who change up their tactic again. The Celtics 1 runner formation although technically I see 3 arrows, but there we go. Cole is in between Emerson and Davids with the forward arrow. Tristan and Raul up front for this one.
I don't know what to make of this, to be honest. It doesn't look bad, but I don't think it's the best 11 he can put out, is it? I don't think so anyway. In terms of positions and players, I think there's obviously Shevchenko missing. He's trying to make 2 up top work, which it hasn't been so far, but he's obviously a bit weak at right wing back. I'm not sure what to make of this one. I think Yeah, I think Tortuga need to sort themselves out. To be honest, he's been he's won a couple of games, but they've not been convincing in anything I've seen.
Well, 10 of the 19 people playing Swanee Super 7 predicting that Stanley will win this. Having seen the teams on paper now, are you in that group, Dimble?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we get anything from this. I'm going to say 3-1 win to the away side.
Okay, let's kick off and find out if that is correct. And it's a very quick start for the away side. Celtics want a penalty. Referee says no. And there is Montella's 5th of the season. It's already looking ominous for the home side as Aymar makes it 2. And that, you imagine, will be just about it already. Unless Celtics can get a goal back quickly. They definitely need one back before half-time, you feel. 10 minutes away from that whistle. Tristan has an opportunity. 4 minutes being added on. Stanley looking for a third before the break. They want a penalty this time, and Canizares has been sent off, and it has all turned. Dimble, it's all turned to shit for the home side.
Yeah, I mean, he has got an old age pensioner in goal, so I'm not surprised he's dragged someone down. That's sealed it, hasn't it? What can you do? He's not going to go one at the back. It's Greavesy, so I'd imagine he'll go strikeless over going one at the back.
I think Raul will come off here for Peruzzi, but I also think Peruzzi could save this penalty yet.
Won't put it past him, but they're not going to score 3 goals.
Greasy suggesting the ref has spoiled the game.
That's what he would say.
Oh, it's an interesting change. He's leaving 2 up top. It's Joe Cole that's being removed. Now, obviously, we're approaching half time, but we can't. I don't think I've seen Scott, so he's not going to be wanting to change anything, is he? Let's be honest.
No, it'd be 12 inches deep, Mrs. Bunny. So
let's slow it down briefly just for the penalty to add to the excitement. Junior is stepping up, and he makes it free, and you cannot see any way back here for the Celtics. And that is half time. I mean, a dominant and ruthless first half by Bostock, who just look in unbelievable form at the moment, don't they, Dimble?
Yeah, they look really good. No surprise to anyone, I don't think. And it would have been a bigger surprise if Scott would have messed it up with that squad. So it's not surprising to anyone to see him doing well with that team. But yeah.
Is it too early to talk about a first undefeated season?
I do, yeah. It's the game always throws up those ones, and obviously with all the red cards that are flying about, then yeah, it only takes a keeper sending off to ruin it, doesn't it? But if he did that, it would be astonishing. Even with this team, it would be astonishing.
Jens suggesting the pink and green Pirates are in trouble. Greavesy saying roll. We'll just very briefly bring the Stanley stats up. Montella rating a 9 at half time as well. Let's go to 60 then and see if Celtics can start a comeback and make a game of this. Well, they have the first attempt of the half, put it into Stein, and there's one. It's Davids. And will that just wake Stanley up a little bit? It's very slow to get going. Tristan with a great opportunity to make it 2, but fails to score. Do you throw Shevchenko on in this situation?
Yeah, why not? Go on.
Can you see Greavesy doing something daring?
No.
Rox, can we just rebadge Bostock as AI Roma and accept he's going to ruin everyone's life?
Yeah, let's hope that's not true, but it does look that way, doesn't it?
Roma are there to be beaten. But let's see. Looking at the rest of subs bench, there's nothing else that really stands out. I'm just trying to work out where and how you would bring Shevchenko into this, unless you're just doing a straight swap. Shev for Emerson, David centre, keep Arrow. So is he going 3 up top?
It appears that way, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? Yeah, you need to, don't you? But it's not going to work, is it?
Greavesy in 3 up top, shocker. I'm suddenly more interested in Celtics getting back in this now. What a story that could be.
Well, it's almost like Greaves has taken the all the comments.
Oh, they've got 2.
Oh, look at
It's Raul. And can they get an equaliser? 20 minutes to play, a man down against the unbeatable Bostock Stanley. We saw drama in the Dragons game the other night. Are we going to get more in this one? Sure, Gatos Van Bommel, though, gets there. 5 minutes to play. And here come the home side, and it's Raul Shevchenko. But it's blocked. And here comes Montella. 3 minutes to be added on. Do Celtics have one more attempt in them? Here come the away side, looking to wrap it up. Montella puts it wide, and Aymar picks up an injury. I would assume, as he's not here, he would do that.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, you could bring Pat Satsoglu on and swap him with one of the DMs, but yeah, that's fine, isn't it?
It looks fine to me. Yeah. Totti did play there early in the season from memory as well. Let's resume the action. Do Stanley have a chance in injury time? No. Unfortunately for Celtics, they managed to get 2 back, but couldn't force the 3rd. And Bostock pick up yet another win. But it was a spirited display by the home side, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's encouraging stuff, to be fair. Like, I was ripping into Greavesy a bit, but that's an encouraging second half display. It wasn't all kind of gift wrapped by the game engine either. It was actually quite a good performance second half. And Bostock don't look untouchable, do they? They're very good, obviously, but they don't look untouchable.
No, I'm saying if you can hold us. I'm trying to think of someone with a good solid defence that could just hold them at bay. And then because I think they've already played casuals this year, haven't they?
Yeah, I think casuals with 10 men took a point, didn't they? So that kind of proves your point.
Having a look down the list here then at the Celtics team, and bar the red card, it's not a bad performance at all, is it?
No, that's pretty good. There's some good 8s from key players there as well. So yeah, I think Greavesy will be not pleased, but he'll be happier than he was 5 minutes ago.
Absolutely. And a quick look, Zambrotta picking up man of the match. Montella and Aymar was with the goals. Aymar's still only rating a 6. To be fair, it wasn't a textbook performance. There's 6s dotted throughout that team. You've got Totti there as well. The defenders both picking up 6s, considering Celtics scored 2 goals. So there's certainly room for improvement for Bostock.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say much, saying they're all kind of ex-Greavesy players, because there's quite a lot of them. But Zambrotta, Aymar, Montella were the difference. Zambrotta, I love Zambrotta. I would do anything to get him back, but I'm guessing he won't let him go because he's pretty good.
4 6s in a 3-2 win.
Montella for me is he's just the most reliable striker on the game. I know he's the best every time, but you know what you're getting from him, and he's always going to be good.
I'd be hard pressed to disagree. I think
just in terms of reliability, like he's not going to let you down very often at all.
Next up, we go over to Vikings, who entertain the Gazelles. We're looking at the away side here. They are in poor form. They're without key players in the likes of Kivu, Nedved, Petrov injured as well. After winning their first 4 games, they've lost the last 3 2-0. Dan has made alterations, both personnel and tactically, a little bit in terms of instructions. Pizarro, the big name, back in the 11.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you go back to what was working? And it suits the personnel he's got. Adilson's been a really, really good draft signing, hasn't he? I was torn whether to go for him or not, because I had him at Churchtown. I inherited him, I did try him out. I did try him a couple of times, and he did absolutely nothing for me. But like later on, when I was kind of researching which players to bring in, he kept popping up on all the things I was looking for, and I was torn whether to go big for him or not. So it's nice to see him doing well because I think he's a good player. The rest of it's just solid. I don't think there's anything spectacular about it. I don't think they create loads of chances, but I think Dan can obviously set up a team. He's no mug. He can set up a team, and he's going to be competitive.
No, absolutely. As for the home side, currently sat fourth in the league, they give a debut to Mark Overmars on the left wing.
Yeah, he's a player I like. They've had 3 or 4 different players on the left so far this season, haven't they? I think all of them have done okay. To be fair, I can't remember like the German guy or whoever played the start of the season letting them down or anything. But yeah, Gore
was the other one, yeah.
Yeah, they both did okay. Overmars is a different kind of option. Interesting to see Saviola back at AMC after Jens stuck up for him all last season at AMC, and then he's dropped him all this season in favour of lesser players in theory. But yeah, again, it's similar to the Burn squad for me, where it's got players I like. They're not particularly stars. They're not fancied to do well for that reason, but the players I like, and I think Jens is probably enjoying managing them, and I think I would too, because I think they've got some real quality there.
Former 2-time champion Ryan not overly enthused by the rebranded Red Vikings, both the team and the team colours coming into question.
It's not a Ryan style team, that is it? No. Let's be honest.
Can I ask you then, please, for a score prediction in this one?
I went home win. I think it was 2-1. I went, so I'll just stick with that, even though I think it's going to be very close.
Okay. I'll be honest, Ryan, in terms of trying to read it, I'm not a big fan, but it is still slightly better than the Dragons rebranded colours, which are a fucking nightmare. Both teams having opportunities in the first 15 minutes, but no open to the scoring yet. Yellow card handed out to Gazzelle's midfielder. Still both teams trying to come forward, and there's Crespo to open the scoring on 20 minutes. He's having a much better campaign this time round already, isn't he, Dimble?
He looks good, yeah. A good version of Crespo.
And why did you allow it? I had nothing to do with it. Everyone was allowed to just pick what they wanted. It was all part of the let everyone have their say. And Jens decided it was going to be colours that we couldn't read. Etu, the obvious substitution here, but it wouldn't surprise me if Hersey came on and Adilson went up top.
I think he'll go with Eto. He's not played Hersey at all, or he's not played him much anyway this season.
One sub appearance so far this season.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be Eto. Maybe Adilson up front, but probably Eto.
We shall await confirmation from Dan. Classic Jens.
Racist.
Etu for Pit. So Etu is coming on, but Adilson is going up top.
Yeah, I think he started Adilson up top the last game, I think it was. So it doesn't surprise me. Eto is a good AMC as well. But I would put it the way around.
And it's 2-0. It's Carlos Shax on 36 minutes. And once again, Gazelles find themselves 2-0 down. It's bizarre, these runs that these sides are going on. We mentioned earlier, Haggis have conceded at least 2 goals in every game. That continued. And for the 4th game in a row now, Gazelles find themselves 2-0 down. And Vikings deserve it looking at those initial match stats, because they have been peppering the away team's goal.
Yeah, it's a really, really good performance. Very encouraging stuff for the Vikings. Dan will be very frustrated not to create anything again, although I can relate to that, Dan. You've not changed that. He's probably gone back to the same tactic file and everything, but it's not creating.
We have a look at the home side stats. Overmars having an impressive debut. Important that key players like Crespo and Jacques are staying, are contributing, and they certainly have in that first half.
Yeah, they've got some good players. Duff on a 6 is the only thing that's surprising there, because I think yeah, the rest of them are doing what they're there to do. Overmars has had a good debut so far.
I would argue that's a fairly harsh 6 when his performance is virtually identical to that of Overmars, who's got an 8.
Yeah, I mean, one key pass, one key tackle is the difference, isn't it? But yeah, it might be a harsh 6. He's not doing anything defensively, but that might just be because Oliveira's shit and not doing anything.
Well, Dan's already picked his sub, but we'll just have a very quick look at the stats there. And it's just 6s all over the pitch, isn't it? The further forward you get.
Yeah, it's disappointing. To be fair to Dan, I expected 6s from a lot of those players from the start of the season, so he's done well to get what he has done so far. So to see that's not surprising to me, but it obviously is following the good results he had.
So there's a tactical change with Hersey coming on for Rivaldo and going further forward. Just wait till for Dan to confirm if he wants any arrows on these two players. But understandable sub. And do you think Mendieta is capable of bossing that midfield on his own?
It's an understandable sub, yeah, definitely. Change the shape, go a bit more attacking. Hersey's a good player. I like him a lot. Mendieta, I think he's better in a 2 actually, but for 45 minutes, let him play.
Jens wanted to roll to 60, so we resume the action and see if the tactical change can force the issue a little bit for the away side, or is it just going to make more space available to the home team? We pause the game, no change to the score there, and no real signs of Gazelles getting back into this, Dimble.
No, it ticked away a bit too fast. The Gazelles like in there. I think Jens will see this out from here.
And I'm not really seeing any obvious need for subs either here.
No, unless you fancy giving someone a run, I would stick as is.
Without seeing his stats, Dan's already said play on, so we won't even look. We'll just wait for confirmation from Jens if he wants to change anything. But I think he'll be relatively comfortable with what he has seen so far. Just looking at the Gazelles bench, there was nothing else they could really do to change this anyway. Only Elise, the remaining outfield option. Jens wants Smith on. But who does he want him on for, do we think?
I can't imagine him changing the shape, so I would imagine it's Crespo, but it'd be nice for you to confirm. Yeah.
I think it might be Saviola.
Oh, for Sav, yeah, he has gone Sav. I think that's just the case of getting him on the pitch. I can relate to that. Some players you want to give him a chance, but it's the Super League, so you can't be playing any weakened teams at any point. So it's nice to get players on the pitch.
No, absolutely. Gazelles try and pull one back, but still no joy for them. Vikings continue to look dangerous every time they come forward. Into the final 10 minutes. Into the final 5. Into injury time. And there's the full-time whistle. And the 4th game in a row that Gazelles have lost 2-0.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty simple from them. It's one of them though. If he's using the same tactic, how can you even explain it really?
No, very true.
Yeah,
if you're Jens looking at that, are you? Sorry, carry on.
So Vikings are a good team though, so it's not surprising in that sense. Going away to the Eric Micklund is going to be tough this season. But when many thought it wouldn't be, I do think they are a good team.
When you're looking at those stats, both the match stats and the player stats, if you're Jens, are you a bit frustrated you've only won 2-0?
No, I don't think he's got like the quality to blow teams away at this point. Unless Jax develops mad numbers and starts getting kind of 4 key passes a game and stuff. I don't think he's got the players to blow teams away. I just think he's very functional. Okay. Everyone does the job, and he's got Crespo playing well, which means he's going to do well this season. And to be fair to the end, no one expected it. So I think so far he's got the Tato Manager of the Season award, even though Tato's been
As for Gazelles, it's just disgustingly average, isn't it? Even the subs weren't able to have an impact.
Yeah, there's no spark there at all. You've got really, really good players like Mendieta not doing anything. You've got really, really fucking shit players like Dyes not doing anything, which is unsurprising. Yeah, it's not very good from Gazelles, but I've got faith that he'll bounce back at some point.
Congratulations to Vikings on picking up another 3 points here tonight. No, we don't want that. So let's go to Dragons, and they entertain Rose in what is a very, very important game. We mentioned it at the start. You have to feel sorry for Dragons and Dragons fans for what happened to them. As you said, the game just fucking him over, really. Last time out, but they've responded and they've made changes, and they look to pick up that first win of the season this time out. They are without, as you can see there, Victor Baez suspended, as is Nesta after their red cards in the last game. So Given starts, Radaby comes into defence to partner Keown, Gerard gets a place on the bench, and Monero partners Constantinu up top.
Yeah, I think Duggan has been pleased with the way the tactic worked from the off last week. So that's probably why he's just done this. He's kind of replaced the players. He's stuck with it. They are big players to miss though, and Given's a walking five, but he can play well.
Are you surprised that Casillas hasn't started?
I am, because he gave up 2 decent players to get Casillas in. So I am surprised that he wouldn't trust him at all. I think Given's probably more ready season 1, but like I say, I don't think he's particularly reliable. So why not play Ika?
No place for Bowyer or Back or Tony in the starting, even on the subs bench.
I was surprised how good Radaby was looking. If you just bring him up, yeah, he looks pretty good, doesn't he? Because I always had him down as a pretty shit player, but I was surprised at how good he looked. So he's obviously not perfect, but he looks pretty solid. Monero is going to be an interesting one up front. But yeah, I'm hoping Duggan get off the mark soon. I know it's against Steve. Yeah, but to be fair, I'm praying for Duggan to get off the mark.
Well, let's have a look at Steve's team, and it's completely unchanged from the side that beat Gazelles 2-0 last time out.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons I want Duggan to win. Is this tactic makes me feel a bit sick. It obviously changed it for me, and it worked against me, and they stuck with it. I don't want to see this tactic again, so I want Dragons to bum him tonight.
Duggan there, can't wait for Ryan's reaction to Veron DMC. Some praise for Radaby in the chat. Jens pointing out he was class for Hull's season 1 as well. Let's go to kickoff then. You're hoping that Dragons win, but what are you predicting is going to happen?
My official prediction was. Look, I predicted a Rose 2-1 win. So I'll just say that. That was before I saw the teams, though.
Let's kick this one off and see if Dragons can get that elusive first win. Fucking can't read a thing that's going on, so we'll only comment on what White Rose are doing, which at the moment is not a lot. We do get a corner, fail to make anything of it. Keane, Monero, Ronaldinho all getting involved. There's Dyer approaching half time, and I would say this has been Dyer, to be fair. Not really a lot going on. It looks like Dragons are shading it, but only slightly. As Rose have the last attack of the half. Don't start. Fuck's sake. And just one attempt. No shots on target by either side.
Yeah, it's a boring Dudley, isn't it?
It's fucking terrible, that.
Let's put Steve's team up so we can make the 8 changes he's going to make, and then we go with it.
And the
Come on, boys.
slowest changes of slowest changes at all. Hussein hardly seeing the ball at all. Is this Burnley v Stoke at Turf Moor on a cold winter night? Says Jens. Steege is saying, "Oh my, awful." Ryan saying, "Mom, the Dragons." And I just want to scroll back up the chat there because Ian suggested it was anti-football, and Steve Wright saying anti-football that's created more than haggis since I've used it. I'll post our attacking stats tomorrow. Bare chested now.
I'm looking forward to the first stats drop from Swan whenever it comes. Hopefully, it will come.
Well, while we wait for Steve to type his multiple subs, let's have a look at Dragons then. Shaded the attempts, even though they couldn't get any on target. Looking at their subs bench, are you expecting changes at half-time, or is Duggan going to keep the faith?
They've got three very good outfield players on the bench, haven't they? So it won't surprise me. I think all of them could change a game.
I mean, Decor is coming on for Poyet. So the good news is Veron's moving slightly further forward. The bad news is Steve's bringing on more defensive players.
He's just got more of a bastard in his wall now, and that's not good for the game, I don't think.
Just wait confirmation. Classic Finnan picking up a knock in the first half. Stoke on steroids was something else, wasn't it?
Alf is suggesting that the cat's sucking your blood right now. Is this true?
No, the cat just wants to sit up here and have a cuddle. Gerard for Lazans is the sub for Dragons. So I sit at this desk 4 nights a week, two Super League shows and 2 podcasts, and every time without fail, he'll ignore me every other night of the week. But when I'm sat here, he just wants to sit on me. Constantinou Centre. Wait.
What I'd do is just lock him outside because I don't like cats.
Sim for Monero. Go 2 AMCs without arrows and Constantinou Central. I believe that's how Dragons are lining up for the second half.
Yes.
Put your cock away, Fyfie. I wish I wish it was that thick, mate, but that is just my forearm.
I think it's more the smell that's attracting it.
I'm glad to see some things never change. Duggan confirming that is what they do. So let's roll to 60 now and see how that. See if these AMCs can do anything against that DMC line of the Rose. Let's find out indeed. And they're certainly coming forward, are the home side. They've got goals in them, as you said at the beginning of the show, but it's whether they can defend or not. We get to 62 minutes, still 0-0, and no real clear-cut opportunities to speak of still.
No, there's not much more you can do. Maybe add an hour or 2 more, but
just add the arrows to the AMCs now.
Yeah, or potentially the DMs because they've got no one. They've got no one running past them.
No one running forward.
Yeah, I don't know.
Looking at those 3, I'd be more inclined to have no arrow on Mialbi and arrows on Keane and Gerrard.
I'll just move Keane and Gerrard forward and take the arrow off. I think that's what I would do, but I think. Like, not spoken to Duggan in detail about it, but I think he's got specific instructions set up, so I don't think he'd be moving players for no reason.
So we're adding an arrow to Stakoviak. That might be the only alteration by Duggan. As you say, there's potential to move stuff around to try and force the issue, but although it's not a classic game, they are arguably shading it, so you don't want to change too much.
Yeah, it's one of them where they've not got a win, so you don't want to chase it too much.
Yeah,
it's a bit like a not Forest at home to Villa the other night, isn't it? Actually, a draw, all right, even though it's not.
As far as Nicky Ferenko, they're rating a 5. Steve Finnan on 79% fitness, so there's definitely things for Steve to consider.
Yeah, I would be putting Marquinhos on, pushing him up and Finnan off, and I would be pushing Dyer up as well. That's what I would be doing if it was me.
Rox is not getting his entertainment value from this game at all. Looking at the subs bench there, you're right that there is opportunity for Steve if he wants to go for the win to shake it up a bit. It's just whether does he look at this as he's the away side? You know, he's a big advocate of win at home, draw away.
Yeah, just looking at the table now though, and he's 3 points off Burn at the start of the night. Burn won, so he's 4 points off Gazelle. So a draw doesn't really do much good at this point. I'd be tempted to go a bit more attacking.
And Hussein also coming off for Sand is something of a surprise.
He's not been involved much. He's on the yellow, so I can see the logic behind it. But I think Hussein is on the pitch. He scores goals, so I wouldn't have taken him off.
Well, you've certainly proved that the last season or two at Churchtown. Slow it down. This game's still in the balance, if lacking any real quality. But Dragons come forward. Lucio goes in the book. Skoviak for free kick. Ronaldinho, but Decor with an excellent tackle. And Rose just boring this one into nothingness. Here they come themselves on the attack. Countered by the home side into the final 10 minutes. Lucio wins the aerial battle. There's Veron, Nikiforenko. Well held by Shay Given. Gerard fails to control the ball, goes out for throw-in, which Dyer takes, and he gets the ball back, tries to go on his own, wins the corner, which Veron takes. And Dragons fail to counter. 85 now on the clock. A goal here for either side surely wins it. It's Dyer. Shay Given with the save. 2 minutes only to be added on to the end of this one. It's a yellow card handed out to Skoviak. Free kick to Rose. Veron could not make anything from it. Now Dyer Marquinhos, the substitute. Free kick awarded. Veron strikes it. Fine save from Given. We're into injury time. Perry misses the target. Just nothing from the home side at all. Radaby's worn. Free kick given. Dyer lines it up. Gerard manages to clear. And it finishes pretty much the way you'd expect if you've just lived through that. Fucking hell, that's terrible.
Yeah, flash the stats up. Let's move on. That was Super League at its worst.
But I don't know. Your game with Burn was probably still worse.
There was a goal. There was a goal in it.
There was a goal. I'll give you that. Yeah. So this is probably the new official worst game. This is now officially the worst game in Super League history. Kieran Dyer somehow getting man of the match and a 9 rating.
Yeah, at least the Shay Given shout made a good decision because Cias might have now got an 8, so that could have been the difference. Fair play to Duggan. Yeah, it's a bad game. It's not a bad point for each team, but they both really could have done with a win, couldn't they?
Duggan apologising for the lack of entertainment, but blames Steve's tactic entirely.
Yeah, it was always going to happen. He genuinely had created loads of chances with it, hadn't he? But it was always going to happen that he was going to ruin a game at some point soon, and it happened tonight.
And that brings us to what should be the main event, but for the fact that we had the Badgers Ghost game earlier, and that brings us to you. You're without Campbell, Vogels, and Oni still injured as well. So talk us through your team selection, please.
Yeah, I was struggling to pick a team, if I'm being honest. I didn't want to just replace like for like because I just felt like it was just making us a lot weaker. You go from Campbell and Vogel to a Campbell replacement and a Vogel replacement without changing anything else. It just felt like it was going to be rubbish. So I wanted to play Burma, the left winger. So he gets in. He looks quite decent. Interesting to see how he does. I need to know if he's good enough because if he's not, then I need to do something else at left side cover. I think Baum was more than good enough to play at AM.
Well, it was interesting. I was fascinated myself to see how he would do there when I was putting the team together. He's certainly capable, but not a lot of people would play him there.
No, I think he's like nearly, if you look in the editor and stuff, he's got decent rating for centre, not quite good enough to be a centre, and he's versatile. But yeah, he might not work. He might work. I don't know. I just wanted to do something different. I wasn't creating any chances. I wanted to put something different alongside Henri. And he's a different kind of player to Santa Cruz. Mm-hmm. And the rest of it just kind of had to pick itself because it's the ones that were available. The rest of it's pretty yeah, selfish.
Happy with Toldo as captain?
Yeah, that's fine.
As for casuals, they're without Thuram, who's suspended. They make a couple of alterations. Milewski comes into centre midfield for, I believe it was Youngberg. And it's Ayala that replaces Thuram. Kluivert back in the starting 11.
Yeah, it's pretty much as I expected. I was expecting to start Milewski in some way. I wondered whether he'd go to three DMs or stick with 2 centre mids. And I thought it was 50-50 whether he played Comandini or Kluivert, because Comandini played a 5, I think it was last match, and Kluivert came on and did okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just a very solid team. I don't think they're scary as such. They're not a scary team, but I do think they're very, very difficult to beat.
Well, I won't ask you to predict this one, but I will wish you and Hodgie the very best of luck as we kick off East Coast against the Walton Casuals. First half action here. Nothing happening for the first, essentially, half an hour. But Coast come forward looking to open the scoring. Certainly looks more likely. And then Balmer in his new position lasts just under 40 minutes before going off injured.
Well, let's hope the other one's all right then. Yeah, it'll have to be Kutasov, please.
Kutasov is coming on. And let's resume the first half action, which is coming to a very quick close. Good opportunity there for the home side. Can they take it this time? No, offside flag goes up. And, wow, if the last game was bad, Dimble.
Yeah, that's bad, isn't it? I'm actually quite pleased with that, though. I'm genuinely quite pleased with that.
We know casuals don't concede a lot, but you are not going to be troubling that record by only creating one opportunity.
No. And I've got this feeling that we're going to be like this for a while. I need to figure out how to get over it. But at the minute, this is what we are. So a 0-0 would be perfectly acceptable for me tonight.
And Tato saying much the same. A team that is struggling to create much against a team that doesn't concede. Rox wants us to announce a no goalkeeper round immediately. This is not the Swemp League or the Stemp League or the Small Horse Invitational Trophy. This is proper managers playing proper football in a proper fucking boring way at the moment. If it wasn't for the red cards, there'd be no entertainment.
I'll take my keeper.
He was around earlier. I'm not sure if he's still with us. Fyfie, you've got a giant slug on your top. No, it wasn't a slug. Let's bring your maximise 4 players with marking.
I've got less than 4 players with marking on Ryan. If that's your little beef. As
for yourself, I can see Hodgie's making his sub there. I wish to issue an apology to Steve for the frankly scintillating previous game. One change for the casuals, Zepeda coming on for Davies. Anything for yourself, sir?
I want to take a Nelcroft, but do I dare? I don't think I dare. I'll leave it till 60. See how it goes.
Leave it till 60. Let's resume the action then and see if the second half is any better at all. Well, casuals have an attempt and then get a player go in the book. 58 on the clock as Kluivert misses an opportunity. Anelka getting involved, but we stop bang on the hour. Still 0-0.
Conditions, please. Right. Can I have Morientes for Holland?
You can.
Swap with Kutasov.
Mm-hmm.
And then swap with Anelka. And can you swap on Reen and Anelka actually as well, please?
I certainly can.
Yeah, let's do that. It might make it a little bit more interesting.
Ryan is suggesting you go 2 up top.
No, I don't want to change too much because I am worried about losing this game. So let's see what happens.
As for casuals, again, not a stellar performance by their usual standards. No overall fitness concerns. Can I see Comandini coming on? Probably not. If anything, Zepeda might move forward, but I think Hodgie be reluctant to change his tactic personally.
I don't think Lumber's going to change the game. Comandini might if he's pissed off at Clivert again, but he's brought him in, so I'd give him a chance.
Well, he's keeping it the same. Couple of set pieces for Coast failed to cause a goal. Here come casuals looking for that one. They average one a game, as we saw earlier. Generally winning every game 1-0. I'm loath to slow this down, but it's still in the balance.
You don't have to.
I know you don't like it slowed down. Morientes with an opportunity. Heading towards the final 10 minutes. Excuse me. And there is the goal for casuals, and it is Clivert on 80 minutes with his first goal of the season. Can Coast get one back? Penalty, but no, the ref is having none of it. I'm sure Dimble will say it was a blatant pen. Anelka, oh, and Buffon was off his line, but still made the save. 4 minutes to be added on. 88th minute. Paredes on the counter. Paredes goes into the book. Tolder gathers the free kick, but tries to set off early. And once again, casuals win 1-0. Commiserations, Dimble. It was close. It was unspectacular, but casuals do what they do best.
Yeah, I was always going to struggle to create something. I'm a bit annoyed, but at the end of the day, they were a better team than me, I think, unfortunately. I think that's actually, it's not a bad formation. We've won our tackles, passed the ball all right. The ratings look okay. Yeah, it's just creating those few more shooting opportunities, but that's going to be very hard to do against Walton. Subs are shit, that's on me.
As for the away side, again, decent ratings. Davies was the only one to really disappoint, but he got subbed off at half time. Perhaps could have done with a bit more out of Claudio Lopez, but other than that, Hodgie will be delighted, I think.
Very much so, yeah. Milevski at centre mid has worked out for him. I thought it would, to be fair. So, yeah, congratulations to Hodgie. Good performance. Just edged it. It was a very tight game. Just edged it. I think he's got the edge over me with those teams.
And that brings us back to what was the Ghost game and the concluding game for this evening. Just a reminder of the team news before we kick off. Here was Asta's team. The highlights include Van Nistelrooy playing at AMC. And then for the badges, it was much the same as what's done so well for them lately. Roberts returns to the starting 11. I can't remember if we got as far as asking, so I'll do it again. A score prediction, please.
I predicted 2-1 away win, so I'll stick with that.
2-1 away win. Let's kick this one off. And couple of opportunities there for badges, but Lefopoulos gets away with it. Looked like he'd spilt the first one. 23 minutes on the clock. Well, this is certainly a tight battling affair. I'm not so sure that there's a whole host of chances being created. Has everyone fucked wing backs off, asks Ryan. Yeah, they're kind of evolving. A lot of people playing with wingers now. And there's Badgers taking the lead on a stroke of half-time through Zanetti. Big goal, that, Dims.
Yeah, it's called evolution, Ryan. But yeah, it's good. That's a good wing back playing on the wing that scored a goal there.
Considering they're the home side, it'd be very disappointing.
Yeah, it's been poor from Asta. Yeah, but what can you say with that? I slated him a bit earlier, but I won't go in further. I'll leave it at that.
Ryan's calling it revolution. Alf wants to go 3 up top. So we will do that. Van Bronckhorst, look at that, on a 5. Very, very unlike him indeed. But 3 up top is the call. So there we go. The dinosaur is still persevering, Ryan, says Ian. Let's have a look at the Badgers stats. Again, much same as Izzy Roberts having a decent game, but up until that Zanetti goal, we had 1 goal in the last 31 minutes. So
it means 31 plus 2 games. Yeah, a lot more than that, but yeah, I get his point.
Do you feel somewhat responsible for the lack of entertainment on show at the moment, Dimble?
No, I mean, I drugged all the refs up before I pressed load, so I did my best to keep it entertaining. What more can I do?
Tato saying as is till 60, and Alpha's done the 3 up top. I've not seen anything else from him, so let's resume the action and go to the 60-minute mark.
Yeah, take the alpha instructions. If he's put one in there, just take it.
And that's 2 from the Badgers. Quick goal in the second half. We've reached the hour mark, and it is Astor Athletic 0, Boostown Badgers 2, and Alpha's going to have to work some magic. Van Bronckhorst really struggling in this game to have any sort of impact.
Yeah, sorry, Rox meant real minutes. He's probably right. I was thinking game minutes. Yeah, Alf is needing to do something, but I don't think there's much he can do, is there? I mean, he's got good players on the bench, but I don't think Robin can do it all on his own, attacking wise. Yeah, I would definitely change it, but I don't know if it's going to make a difference.
Okay, we'll just wait. Tato saying, "Dims, bow down, baby."
Yeah, Tato and his Rafa. Credit where it's due, though. He's a Super League myth turned into a 8-game legend by Mr. Starch.
Badgers 2-0 up. Don't really see much need for them to change anything. Looking at their subs bench, do you see maybe Agahawa or Kesman coming on in this one?
Yeah, I don't think he can go without making a change, can he? So he will. Like, he's probably going to make a change. He doesn't need to do anything now. I think he just leave.
No, absolutely not. Just wait for both managers to confirm. Brujink for Agahawa is the call from Badgers. And that is all. Just wait for Alf to confirm. All 3 subs on.
So the reason he brings Brujink off there is because he's on the 6. But if you let it run,
no.
Brujink might finish on a 7 or an 8.
Let me try that again. All 3 subs on, 1 in DM, 1 on AM, I think. What?
Okay. Let us choose then.
Right, so 1 like that.
Yeah.
1 like that. Is that what he's saying?
Edmundo.
And then
Salas.
Where's
Edmundo for Salas, maybe, yeah.
Is that what he's asking for?
Just 1 DM, 1 AM. I don't know. That's confusing.
I mean, there's no actual detail there. Oh, all right, let's cancel that. So I think he wants this. But again, it's not very clear, Alf. So if you're going to take your time typing it, can you at least type the full clear instruction?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm guessing that is what Alf wants. But now we're just going to have to wait more time for him to confirm anyway.
Yeah, but he wants Van Bronckhorst MC, so I think he's saying to leave and die on his own.
Oh, fucking hell. He's not... Cancel that again. Right, so he wants Van Bronckhorst there.
Yeah, Gianni Keda for NDI, Robin for someone.
Let's see if
I don't know
that's
about
much more to Alf's liking.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Yeah.
Alf, if you could just clearly put who you want subbing where, it would be a lot easier than us guessing. Like, I appreciate you do the whole Mystery Man game, like during the week, but doing Mystery Man subs is just taking the piss. You just put will do. I'm presuming that's to me saying if you could just type what you actually want. Right, we'll just go with this, I think. And we'll play on, regardless. And Badger's still dominating. No need to slow this one down. Has to look like they might get one. There it is through Salas. Are we going to get late drama in the final game? Had no drama in just about any other game. Perez. Frey makes the safe corner. Ferguson. Frey catches it, sends Lizarazu on a counter. They're going to wrap it up here, Badgers. Roberts, Kanadze. Puccini. Lefopoulos, though, gets there. And now Robin. It's a yellow card. Roberts must be careful. Into injury time. Van der Vaart picks it up. Oh, it's hit the bar. And there's the final whistle. And Badgers win again. And this is 5 games unbeaten now, I think, where they've scored 2 in each of those games. And yet another one of those scoring runs continues. Congratulations to Badgers, who survived a late scare from Asta, but probably on the balance of play deserved it.
Yeah, they were the better team for kind of 75 minutes by a mile, and then Asta did come back into it. But yeah, congratulations to Teo there. It's been a good little run for him. Let's hope he can keep his interest.
Absolutely. Alf saying it was shocking. Tato saying he was worried there. Good win, Tato, says Rodeo Bibbins as well. Let's have a look at the home side. Not bad ratings throughout. Van Nistelrooy, considering he was playing most of the game out of position as well, put in a reasonable shift. I think Alf will look at that. I think there's more positives than negatives, to be fair.
Yeah, the late flurry kind of saved it from being all 7s and 6s, I think. But yeah, it's disappointing for Alf, and I'm sure he will find a way to get out of the hole that he's in at the minute.
Absolutely. As for Badgers, who are on a great run at the moment, they did hit the bar late on. Lizarazu picking up man of the match. And it's becoming a staple of what they do. It's very rare they have sort of standout performances and stuff. It's just a solid team effort throughout, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone's doing the job. We've got some very, that 11's very nice. Famani's been very solid, and he's the only one you look at it, or maybe Kamuna as well on paper and think maybe not. Fassini's obviously a little bit questionable, but he's already done it in the league when he looked very bad. So yeah, it's just a good performance from Badgers again, and they'll be very, very pleased with how it's been going. And I think that probably puts him in the playoff picture. I think he's in.
Well, let's find out. Classified results then. So we had Asta 1, Badgers 2, Dragons 0, Rose 0, Coast 0, Casuals 1, Fulchester 5, Triple P 0, Haggis 1, Burn 2, Vikings 2, Gazelles 0, and Celtics 2, Bostock 3. Fyfie transfer, please, mate. Nope. No need for transfers. We're literally 8 games in. You've had these players for 8 whole games. You can wait longer. You still have deals available, I'm sure. Go and do those. Let's have a look at the league table. Bostock Stanley remain top and undefeated, 18 points from their 8 games. And now Jens has been fired for choosing their colours. Casuals now second, 17 points, just the 1 defeat for them. 1 defeat also for Vikings, who sit third on 15 points. You're there on 15 as well, Dimble. 5 wins, 3 defeats. It's one of the things, people don't like to draw games. I bet you wouldn't mind turning a couple of those losses into draws. Burn there fifth.
Nice.
Burn there on fifth, 14 points. Badgers, you are right, into the top six on 13 points. Gazelles a point further back on 12. Fulchester move up to 10 points. Then we've got Rose and Triple P on 9. Celtics 7. Haggis 6. And in the spirit of with Ryan being here, I can now tell him he's no longer got the accolade of what appears to be the worst title defense in history, with Haggis 1 win from their 8 games. Astor on 5 points in 13th, and winless Dragons. But they do still look like it might happen sooner rather than later. 4 draws, 4 losses, 4 points. Just a point behind Astor at the bottom of the table. On Sunday night then, which I believe Macca has already, and he is in the chat, you did win the season, that title, Ryan, and it's only because I inspired you. I take full responsibility for that title win. I believe Macca has already confirmed he will be doing comms on Sunday, so that should be fun. And he will be doing comms for, that's the local derby, isn't it? Away at Tato. What a fun night that could be. So another late night for Badgers. Bostock. Sorry, mate.
You could do it with Tato sat on his knee if you wanted.
Bostock at home to Vikings. You are away to Gazelles. I'll get your thoughts on that in just a second. Burn at home to Astor. Triple P versus Celtics. Casuals against Dragons. Fucking hell, I'm not looking forward to that already. And White Rose. Oh, that's possibly even worse. At home to Haggis. Confident looking at that Gazelles away, Dimble?
No, 2 giants of the first 4 games stumbling together in game week 9, is it? Yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks for me, and I think it's been rougher for Dan, so it's going to be a struggle, that one. Not looking forward to it.
Got some request for player stats, so let's have a look where we are after 8 games. Vieira, top of the average ratings. Buffon, look, 2 Walton casual players at the top there. Zayaleas for Celtics on 8.13 as well. Anelka, joint top scorer now with Crespo in the scorers list, but he hasn't scored for a couple of games, I believe, Dimble, where, like you say, you've been quiet and a bit toothless. We've got a couple of players there just behind Sigalco, Shearer, Montella, all on 5. Click on VDV, go on. Why not? There you go. There's VD, 18-year-old Rafael van der Vaart. He's surely too young to be playing in the Super League, Dimble. But there he is on his 783 rating with 3 goals and 2 assists in 6 starts.
Very, very impressive. Well done, Tato.
Let's go into the assist charts. Didier Gat still up there. And then we've got a couple of players, Michael Owen, Carlos Shax, Pablo Aymar, all on 4. Where should we go next? Yellow cards. Walter Samuel, Sol Campbell, Roy Keane, and Tamazi all on 5. Click on Jacques too. Next time I see him pop up, I will do. Red cards. Gattuso, still the only man to have more than 1. Pass completion. Raymer actually at the top there for Astor alongside Hippier and Materazzi. Tackles per game. Jens Jeremies on a 7. Neil Scally. Look at Northern Burn. They love a tackle at Northern Burn, don't they, Dimble?
We've got 2 of the most horrible cunts in the world, haven't they? I love that. I wish I had them.
You don't have a problem with tackling. You have a problem with attacking.
Oh no, you can always have more tackles though, definitely.
Dribbles per game. Ryan Giggs at the top there, ahead of Adilson. Shots on target. Roy Mackay for Triple P, 6% better off than Ian Robin, who is consistently not getting in the Astor team at the moment. We are nowhere in a meaningful stat. So much more to come, says Steve Wright. And that takes us back to the average rating. Quick look. Badgers. Who would have thought this after the first few games? Top of the form guide. Bostock Stanley and Casuals and Vikings in behind. And look at that. White Rose neatly positioned in 5th. Astor Athletic, 5 defeats on the bounce. 4 defeats on the bounce for Gazelles, and it's not happy reading for you being 12th in the form guide, Dimble.
Nah, and I've got some key players missing again, and yeah, I'm not. I'll be honest with you, I'm not enjoying my new team at the minute.
No, is it not quite the Churchtown team that you fell in love with?
I've not found a love for these boys yet. Yeah, so see how it goes.
Bostock 8
it'll
without
grow.
defeat, as we know. Casuals there 6. Badgers 5 without defeat. Rose 4. Fulchester and Vikings 3. Burn and I mean, let's give credit where it's due because they're at the bottom of the league. There's not much to sing about. Dragons 2 games without losing keeps them on that list.
Yeah,
Games without winning, however. This is the one where Dragons are number 1. Up the unbeatable Rose, says Steve. Dragons 8 games without winning. Astor 6. Gazelles and Haggis 4. PPP East Coast and Celtics on 2. And Rose on 1. Jacques hasn't appeared anywhere. Hang on. Where is he? Why can't I see him? There he is. There you go. Carlos Jacques, 8 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, and a 7-13 rating. Dimble, do you want to put a request in to see any players for no obvious reason?
Can I see how long Vogel's injured for? Because I still don't know. Please don't be long.
Well, if I haven't told you, it's less than a month.
Well, so that could be 3 games, 4 games. Go on. I don't mind everyone knowing.
He's out for 2 weeks.
That's probably another 2 games at least. Yeah, cool. Brilliant. Thank you.
Let's not forget as well, where does he fit into this equation? Mr. Savage's Australia squad. They play Uruguay in 13 days in the first leg. He's announced his squad. For anyone who hasn't seen the squad call-ups, let's filter this by club. A couple of clubs don't feature. Remember the rules for Mr. Savage, where you can only pick reserve players. 2 Astor players. We've got 1 Badger. We've got 1 from Stanley, 1 Dragon, 1 from East Coast as well. Fulchester making up the majority of squad there. It would appear 5 Fulchester players. 1 Gazelle, 2 from Haggis, 2 from Burn, 3 from Triple P, 2 Vikings, and 3 Celtics. Jacques is a numbers machine, says Jens. Thank you very much for your... If you want the next 3 to 4 fixtures, Jens, either refer to your version of the save you've got or go to the neatly maintained CMO 102 Super League website, which has all the up-to-date fixtures and results for you. I highly recommend it. Any final thoughts from yourself, Dimble, before we close out for the evening?
Viva the Super League, up the Cosmos. Good night, everyone.
Thank you very much for your time, as always. Thank you to everyone joining in the chat as well. Me and Maka, thanks, didn't think of that. Me and Maka, I believe, I didn't see him say he's not doing it, so I believe it'll be me and Maka Sunday night to bring you the next round of fixtures as shown there. But from myself and Dimble at Super League HQ, it's been arduous at times, but a pleasure as always. Thank you very much, and good night.